So I'm sure many of you use these shaped skew chisels, which have a bit of a rounded shape on both sides. They're quite nice to work with. One of the challenges, of course, is to get this nice and sharp. Because if you put it on the standard Robert Sorby ProEdge system, it tends to rock in the bed. So Robert Sorby have this little jig to help you get the angles right. It works quite nicely, except you do have a problem with the chisel rocking side to side, which gives you typically a shape like that. And I thought, that's no good. I need to do something about that. And a mate of mine at our woodworking club, Cumbria Woodturners Association, Tom Dullidge, said, why don't you do something with your 3D printer to stabilize it? So I did a little bit of development, made a couple of parts, lots of different bits and pieces. You can see that trying to get the profile right was a bit tricky because it's asymmetrical. It's not the most modelable profile. But in the end, I did manage to build a jig, which I've tested, I've used. The chisel slides in it very nicely. And this then goes on the bed and can't rotate. And if you have a look at that edge, it gives a very nice straight edge. Works a dream. Now, I'm not sure how repeatable the shape of the Robert Sorby skew chisels are, the shape over here. I'm going to test it with a few of my mates at the club. But if it is repeatable, I will certainly be putting these out on eBay that you can buy them and sharpen your own skew chisels and get the same sort of finish. So what I'm going to do now, this is the 1-inch skew chisel. I've developed it as well for the 3/4-inch skew chisel, which is this one that I've got over here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it to the ProEdge and get this horrible hodgepodge of a grind sorted out. So to avoid the rocking, which you would get using the conventional chisel, I think we need to replace this with the new part. There we go. The chisel slides in the back, quite a tight fit, snug fit. I'm using an 80-grit belt because I want to really remove all the material away. I'm grinding at 25 degrees. Anywhere between 25 and 35 degrees is a good grind for a skew chisel. I'm going to switch it on and start the rough shaping. Quite a lot of material is going to come off. Flip it over and do the other side. So quite a long way to go. One of the issues that you have with this material that I use for the 3D printing, it's called PLA. It is heat sensitive. It only is stable up to about 55 degrees. So like with my drill sharpening jig, it's good just to chill the bit down a bit in a bit of water every now and again to make sure you don't get any heat build up into the jig. I'm going to have quite a long way to go, so excuse me while I take it on. When you're grinding, it's also best to check that you are keeping it central to taking the same amount of material off both sides. I think the side here needs to get a bit more taken off, so I'll give that a bit more attention. And something else that you can do just to make it easier to put a little bit of oil on the bed for ease of this sliding across. And it is good to let it slide across. It uses the whole width of the belt and you don't get any flat spots in the belt. There you have it. Wonderful grind. That is exactly at 20 degrees, this angle over here. 25 degrees grind. I haven't taken it completely to the face. I mean, the cutting edge is all consistent. There's a little bit of a bevel from a leftover grind here on the back, which is, you can see it over there in the light. I'm going to leave this, it's not going to affect my cutting. This is now with the 80 grit ceramic belt. I'm going to go up to 120 just to give it some finishing. And you don't really need to go much beyond 120 for chisels unless you really want to. But for carving you would have to go to much finer. So I'm going to go to 120 and we'll take it from there. So we've got the 120 belt on. I've just had a look. This really picks up a bit of the metal filings. Just discolors it a bit, so I'll print these either in grey or probably black, but it seems to be holding up quite well and doing the job. So there we have it. Beautiful straight grind. There's no rounding of the top. This little jig slides off quite conveniently. So when you're turning and you need to just sharpen up a dull edge, you just slide it on, come over to your grinding machine, and off you go. I'll see how these go. I'll check the repeatability, as I said, with other mates' chisels, and if it works, I'll put it on eBay. Have a look at my eBay site, Cumbria Maker, Jeff Duplessis. I've got a whole range of jaws that can fit either Axminster or Nova type chucks. If you're holding spheres, small pens and small joints. And then I've got a drill sharpening jig as well, which I'm sure you've seen, which also works a treat. The more you get to use it, the better you get at it. But I think this is an absolute hit. There's my 3/4, nice and sharp for the first time in its life. There's my 1-inch chisel, also nice and sharp. And I look forward to using these as much as anyone looks forward to using a skew chisel. Anyway, hope you enjoy it and see you around. Needless to say, you don't just go from an idea to the end product, and this is the finished solution over here. In one step, I had to make quite a few little jigs to check the profiles, sort it out, see exactly what I needed. Figured out how to get these rails, the print sequencing, assembly. But in the end, I've tested it. It seems to work well, and I think I've got a good little solution here.